Something I was bumping into here was I had put a temporary lock on here, the old lock, and it kept jamming up because this was too close. So when I came out and I looked at it, was this thing kept, this would shift, and it was because the trim on the original door. See, it's the same as this side here. You can see this here, this green part here, that's part of the original door, the way it came from the hardware store. So this side doesn't matter because the hinges make up for the angle. So this probably doesn't sit perfectly flat on the wood. So, but I didn't notice it because the hinges are taking care of that. So it does seem like it's sitting flat here, but on this side it was right on the angle, and this beam was sitting just a little crooked, and I couldn't really move it to where the locks were gonna fit right. So that little strip of wood I showed you on the other side, I chewed it out of there with a chisel and a hammer. So now when I put this on, this will lay flat and this will shut good. And then I'll just fill up the hole with caulk, probably Gorilla caulk. That stuff holds really good. So that's what I have here. I coated the whole thing with Gorilla caulk. That board that went down the length of there, I don't know if it was a piece of trim or if it was actually molded with the door. It didn't come off real clean. You can see down here it came off in some pretty big chunks, so it was definitely a mess. But I used a hammer and a chisel and I chopped it off and then filled in the holes with Gorilla caulk. And that's kind of like a rubbery type thing, so it works real good on wood. So there's no problem there. I'll fill in the holes and paint it, and I think it'll look good enough for us. Another reason I had to do that was because these holes were just a little bit off, and there was no way that I could have just moved it over like a ½ inch or so, or ¼ inch, so this would fit. Yeah. So I figured I had to fill in those holes anyways, and plus that pole, it wasn't sitting flat. Okay, so we got the locks put on there. Now I gotta put this back on here.
This doorknob don't fit that one, does it?
See, that's these two holes here have to line up with these two things here. So last time it worked until I put the lock on. Then we had this was too close to here. So I put one piece of cardboard the whole way down, and the deadbolt sticks out a good inch, so there's no problem there. But I was going to put 2 things of cardboard on, but I'm thinking that might make it too far away for this thing to catch. So I'm thinking 1 thickness of cardboard, and then just don't push it real close to the cardboard. Okay, so that's where this will go. So you can see here I talked about taking off that trim. So this will sit flush. And these holes are in different spots here. The holes for the locks, if you flip it over, it's not exactly the same. So I'm not sure which way we had it before. So go ahead and close it. And, well, so that looks correct. Okay, see if it'll open. Put the dang camera down and get to work. You big dummy.
So does it go that way? Or does it go that way?
Well,
Or does it matter?
well, I think it does matter. I tried it the other day and it was different. So if you could hold that so it doesn't fall. Okay.
Oh, I'm not, it's not up against the,
So that's about right. So we don't want it too far away. Yeah, both of them look like they're about right in the middle. So there's no problem there. Okay. So now it's just a matter of, like, we want this close. Okay, so it's right up above, right on the cardboard there, but we don't want it right on the cardboard. Because that's what we did last time, we had it too close.
yeah, but won't it be far enough after you take the cardboard off?
Well, you think? I don't want to have to take it off and do it again.
Yeah, I know.
If it's too close, that's what I'm saying, you know? That's awful close. I suppose.
Well, that's the cardboard and tape rubbing on it.
Even this door, there's a good 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch, or there's a good gap there.
Yeah.
So
So you end up with a pretty good gap on this side of between your woodwork and it.
well, that's when I said, that's what I was saying, I was just gonna fill it up with putty.
A lot of putty.
So that's pretty good there. But just to be on the safe side, I want to move it out just a little bit. Follow me? Because I don't want to have to do it again.
Yeah, if you would put those screws in there, you can't remove.
No, we aren't putting in the one-way screws.
I wouldn't put them there. I don't know what they were thinking with that.
Well, it's a security door. They don't want people to be able to get it out. Okay. So, hold it. And then here, you try it, see if it works. side. Is it too far away?
It's hard to tell with the cardboard and everything in there what it looks like, 'cause it's all black.
I think that's fine. See, I drew a line down it, right? So and then I just moved it over just a little bit.
Oh, you don't have those things in there.
I don't know if those can go on there. There's really no place to put them.
Yeah, why do they have holes there when there's nowhere to anchor them?
See, she's talking about these things.
Oh yeah, you'd have to drill holes.
I guess we could. Okay, so we'd have to drill holes in here. So one's for the deadbolt and one's for this. See, this one's, that's not, that one's way too big. Maybe if I get another one of those like this, put that here. See, see, when you put this on here, there's no place to screw it because that hole's way too big. But Lowe's sells these here. So something like that would work here. And same with this one here.
How would that work? There's still no holes.
Well, that screw would go in here, and that screw would go down here, and hopefully this will land in the same spot. But like this won't work because there's no place to put the screws. The deadbolt one would work because it's longer.
There's no screw hole down here.
No, you'd have to drill your own. You'd have to drill your own holes.
Oh. Well, you think they would have made it so you could anchor something in there. How do they think you're supposed to put the rest of it in there?
Okay, so since we're thinking about putting these on now, we'll leave even a bigger gap because we're going to need room for these. Okay, so I drew the line with the pencil, so I know where it was sitting flush. So then I'm just going to move it back about 1/8 of an inch, and I'm just putting in the small screws first, just to hold it in place. See how it shifts? Let's start with the screws. It shifts. It shifted over a good 1/2 inch. Okay, what the hell?
Did you fall into the original hole?
No, it couldn't. It's way farther over, and it's all filled in. So it's just the screw.
Oh, that's without those plates in there. That's probably why the door acted like it didn't close up tight. Jiggle around.
Okay, so we got that beam on with just the temporary screws. I got these big screws that I was gonna put in, but she wants to put on these plates. These plates go on here, but that's not gonna work because this lip here sticks out and it won't close with this plate on here. So we're going to have to use two flat ones here.
Yeah, 'cause you had that open on it, so it's not going to work on it.
So like two flat ones like this would work. See, they sell these other ones. This is a different kit, a different door kit. These are supposed to be heavy duty plates for your deadbolts. So what we're trying to figure out now is though, is there enough room to put both of them on? So see, like here, see if there's metal behind those two holes there.
No.
No, see, that plate's not big enough. And same with up here. See, that one's in the metal, but the other one's in the empty space. So see, I made a form for this one here. So that's the same size. So that would go on here. See, but that, let's see here. I think the deadbolt is hitting the top of the metal. So that one would go on there. But then it's, I don't know if there'd be room to put another one down here. Because this big plate stretches out so long. So when you put it on here, probably only one screw is going to hit the bottom too. If that, because see, that's empty the whole way down here.
I don't know what they're thinking when they made that.
So like that screw there'd be nothing to put that screw in, only that screw would be holding it. These two would be in metal. These two would be in metal up here, but only this one would be anchored here, unless I stick something else behind there. So it's going in there, but it's hitting some of the paper. So I think it's hitting this corner here, this front edge. So let's see here. Okay, so I finished it up. I put some more bolts in it. I put 4-inch bolts in. No big deal there, just drilled some holes. Put the bolts in with socket set. The socket on a drill didn't have enough power to put those 4-inch bolts into the 2x4s. I had to do it by hand. This side here, I got these things put on. I got these at Lowe's. It was a real tight fit here. I had to sand this out. I had to sand this up a little bit to get the lock to close. And the holes they cut here on the black beam, they're so big that there's 3 screws that don't hit nothing. So that's the best I could do for now. I'm thinking about just making one from a piece of sheet metal, maybe this summer, just like 2-foot piece of steel or something. But I had to drill some holes to put these screws in, and it took about an hour to get that lined up. It lined up correctly at first, and then when I put the screws in, it knocked it out. That's how close it was, just putting the screws in. So then I just had to sand it up a little bit, and it seems to work now. But it's close, so if the house shifts just a little bit. And this side here, you can see there was originally only three bolts. One at the top, one in the middle, and one down at the bottom. I drilled a couple more holes and put a couple more 4-inch bolts in. So I got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts on this side, or 5 big screws on this side. She didn't want to use the one-way screws, so I just went with the long bolts. I probably could have used 6-inch screws to go deeper, but I think that's good for now. What I did here was I stuck a thin piece of wood in here. When I put these bolts in, these screws in, and then this bar couldn't shift over. It was stuck against a piece of wood that I had jammed in here. I had the door shut with the cardboard on here, and I had a piece of wood jammed in here tight. And then when I put the screws in, that beam couldn't shift around, so that worked real good. Once I know this is going to work right, then I'm going to fill this up. I'll probably stick a piece of wood in there and caulk it up. But I'm in no hurry there. So, you know, it turned out good. It was an all-day job. It wasn't a 15-minute job. I think this was the second or third day I spent on it. But it's secure. They'd be out here for a few hours taking the bolts out. I put more bolts on this side too. So I put 2 additional bolts on each side. Those actually went in pretty easy. I just drilled a hole into the steel and into the wood beam and put the bolts in. Just make sure you have a new bit, a nice sharp bit, and she'll cut right through there. The only thing I'm not happy with is these 2 locks are too close. It looks nice here, but then when you try to put these on, it doesn't work. The holes that they drilled in the beam were too big, and then when you put these on, you know, there's no metal here, there's no metal here, there's no metal here. So that was the only thing that I wasn't happy with. Maybe if they supplied a plate to fit their measurements here, it would work. Even if the holes were big, to allow for things being off just a little bit. Just one big plate that fit that hole and that hole. That would have been nice. Other than that, I think it turned out real good. Yeah. I still have to put a closer on it. I had enough fun today, so I'm not going to do that today. So it's a noisy door too. So I don't know what we're going to do there. Yeah. We thought about putting some goop down inside here, but that goop gets nasty. Yeah, just stick a rag in there or something. Maybe just a couple more little screws, huh? A couple small screws in here will stop it from rattling. See, that's what they did with these things. Just didn't put enough of them on. Okay, see ya.